Whoa, 2,000 views? Thanks for blowing this video up. Ooh, some comments here are really nice. Thanks JustAPal, 20DXOO, and oh. Well, why the ever not?
I thought you were dead.
My death was greatly exaggerated. So,
can you beat Genshin's Genius Invocation TCG with only Albedo? While Hoyoverse allows him to suffer in the endless abyss of older versions, I'm not letting my first ever 5-star go forgotten. The rules are the same as the Dehya video. If you haven't seen that, I highly suggest you do in this top right corner here. Just as a refresher, we can only deal damage with Albedo. Any other characters on standby can only sit there, but they are allowed to help provide cards you'd normally not have. All matches are held in Arena of Champions, and we can't have a DC victory. Our opponents must either go down with their ship or concede their own victory. No one would ever take pride in an AFK opponent. Before we begin, here are a few of you viewers that I want to shout out. If you want to have the chance of being up here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be sure not to do repeats. With all that out of the way, let's get the challenge started! Albedo may be a small guy, but he sure can pack quite a punch. His normal attack does 2 damage like any other, and his skill summons his Isotoma star looking thing. You may think this is just a Geo version of Dehya Summon, but it's a lot more helpful than you think. First, it reduces one plunging attack's dice usage by 1. Second, it's the fact it lasts a long time and deals Geo damage that could possibly get you crystallizes. The third reason why you should summon it is because the Isotoma will help buff the only thing that salvages Albedo in this challenge, his burst. On cast, it usually does 4 Geo damage, but if the star is on the field, it does 2 extra. This is going to be our main source of damage, so we're going to need that star basically all the time. Unfortunately, unlike Dehya's talent, Albedo's only buffs the damage of 1 plunging attack. This equipment isn't as valuable as the 2 HP Dehya's can heal, so we're going to need another way to keep Albedo alive. Except we can't use the same tricks from before. If you recall from the last episode, we had Aito Kokomi Cheer from the sidelines that not only give us Woven Dice, but also Hydra Resonance that can heal on the spot. However, if I use the same strategy, you guys wouldn't have much of a show, so I'm not allowing myself to use those teammates or their resonances this time. Sorry, Inazuma, you were never the target. You were just in the crossfire. You guys might be calling me crazy for not giving myself the easy heals, but hold those thoughts because you'll be needing them much more for my reveal on who else I choose. The Electro Cube and Seahorse. Dramatic pause insert. Y'all must be quaking in your boots. Those two? They're not even meta. Well, this is a challenge run using only 1 character. It's a little hard to use meta here. Obviously, them being 2 Electros means I'm bringing in the Electro Resonance card, which gives 1 person 1 energy for 1 Electro dice. It's a star sign, but better. They also give me the Monster Resonance, which isn't the best, but hey, I'll take a Hilichurl buddy. But back to the energy, this will be the core of his deck, a burst-heavy Albedo. Once he's got his 2 energy, the enemy is as good as dead. He's just 1 snap away from wiping the other side clean. Except there's a problem. Many of the energy cards we have require the character we want to get the energy to be the character in the front line. Ones like Iron Tongue and the Ito card. But with our limited survivability, we can't afford to have Albedo out there more than he needs to. Man, if there only was something we could use to get energy without Albedo needing to kill himself so often. That's right, this card from the depths of 3.3 when TCG made its first appearance is finally getting some attention in the spotlight. This card essentially steals an energy from both your other characters put onto your active character, and if we can't get energy normally through attacking with said other characters, Liu Su comes in clutch by giving them a free energy once you switch over to them. It may be impractical, but it's quirky, and thus required. With Star Sign, Electro Resonance, Liu Su, and the Calx card under our belt, we should theoretically be able to burst twice, maybe even thrice in 1 round. I've actually changed my Arcane card because of this. Instead of the draw power of In Every House of Sov, which actually got nerfed to give 1 less card, I'm going for the Fresh Wind of Freedom, which allows me to keep going after I defeat a card. With all this free damage, we need to capitalize on it the most with proper weapons. And guess which sword we're going to use? Is it the Sax sword? Ooh, maybe the Fav sword. How about it's Aquila Favonia? There's no competition. Once you get the sword, equip it immediately. Golden House hasn't arrived.
Too bad.
There is a huge power creep between the different weapon types and their possible weapons because Aquila Favona literally heals you for 1 HP every time you're the active character once the opposing team finishes their attack. If Dehya had some weapon like this during her run, that with her talent would have been too OP. Unfortunately, we can only dream. Well, back to her talents, Albedo has none of the sort to keep him alive. Yes, I can add a couple Wong Juins to heal him while he's off the field, but it's not going to help. I try to stall for time to avoid the energy's burst, but they just use the time to get the burst back again. I try to solo with Albedo, but a couple hits and he's a dead man. As great as tenacity is, and as ironic as it is for me to say it, the 2 shields and 1 die do nothing to help us stay alive. But at times like these, you must turn to the greatest in history, when George Washington, out of nowhere, says, "The best defense is some tight shorts and a good offense." Close enough. Throw that tenacity in the trash and embrace our savior, Emblem. This baby allows Albedo's burst to deal 2 more damage. With his star, sword, and this artifact equipped, he would deal a whopping 9 damage at once. He's a literal ticking time bomb. That's why Alcalc's card is so precious. Along with the rest of the instant energy cards, they won't see his burst coming. It doesn't matter how much damage I've taken as long as they're dead in the end. If you're enjoying this so far, please be sure to like, sub, and ring that notification bell to stay updated on future content. Also be sure to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/gameperson06. Not only do I play the games you see here, but I play a lot of other fun games like Valorant and It Takes Two Solo. Come join the Gamer Person Posse. I'll be ecstatic of your arrival. Self-promo aside, let's get into the games. As necessary as the Isotoma is with buffing Albedo's burst, you don't need it right away. After all, the damage buff from having the star on the field actually is equal to a normal attack, sometimes less if you have a weapon. Start equipping and setting up, then maybe normal attack and get out of there for the first round. The Seahorse is my go-to for tanking the end phase because not only does it have the pearl armor that can tank damage from summons much easier, but it also gives you a card if you end your turn with the Seahorse in front. Once you get to the second round and all those after it, you've got 2 options. Switch stall until they run out of dice, or go beast mode and get his burst down. Don't stall for too long or else the enemy would just get free damage in, but also make sure to keep Albedo alive long enough to let your teammates do the tanking. The strats from the Dehya video still apply. Keep Albedo free of elements as often as possible to stave off any reactions. Make sure Albedo is healed as much as possible too. Whenever you have the dice and if Albedo has enough health lost to make the most of it, use food. Try not to waste any HP that could have been recovered just because your health was too high. But even through it all, it's just not enough. With the ever-expansive run of time, new cards, new meta, new ways to cheese a game are rising. And it's hard to keep up with the 5-star who hasn't gone a rerun since 2022 and needs the help of an all-new wishing system to come out of Hoyo's basement. And yet, when I give him the passage, the opportunity, the chance to finally show the world he's unforgettable, he falls too short. He's too weak. Ningguang better. His hair looks trash. I want him to succeed. I really do. But do I really need to go back to the Heezy heals? Can I really not make Albedo burst true? Can his teammates really not provide more than 16 health, a dream, and 2 overtly busted mechanics? Wait, what was that? What, did you think I'd only bring them for their meat shields? Both the Cube and the Seahorse's talent cards are pretty helpful. The Cube is nefarious for its ability to revive its Electrocore and heal itself for 3 immediately, basically giving you a free revive. The Seahorse is a little less prominent, but nonetheless useful in tanking summons and even reapplying the Pearl Armor that gives us the free card. This may give us just the extra oomph to keep Albedo alive for as long as possible and may just give us the cutting edge. But with all these cards and all this strategy, can we still make it? Here are some feature clips I want to show you.
But I don't. I don't have Monstats Arcane. This is tantalizingly close, but GG's. No, this was so close. How did this almost work? Because she's gonna kill me with a normal attack. There's no way.
Ashes to ashes. Just
if I had one more attack. The Arcane card. Please. That would be amazing. No! Oh, come on. Stop stalling. And I don't have that one, so I can't, like, get out of the situation. I can't. By literally...
Understood.
1 damage. Yes, the luck I sent went to the wrong location. By 1 damage.
Witness my great under...
Come on. Oh, you have that. Of course you do. Of course you do.
From whence you came.
It was like
ashes.
measly enough. It was so close. Which?
Understood.
Oh.
Witness my great undertaking.
I don't think you should kill. I know I have all the stacks. I know that there's an imbuement. Okay, good. You're going to that one anyway. Stop DCing! This was 2! 2 people that DC'd. Okay, yeah. No. I messed up. I can't stall unless I exit, and he's going to burst no matter what. Can't heal either. No. Is this where it ends? I could have just... It is what it is.
Some in the field research?
This was a good one too.
Retribution!
Well, of course you're gonna do that one instead. No, you're gonna die. I'm gonna die. All the swirls are too much. I'm gonna die. I can't heal myself in time. I can't. It's the same one. Oh yeah, because of this increasing physical damage as well. Hey, to be fair, after this, there won't be anything to, like... You have this. Of course you do. And it's gonna be just out of reach, too. I'm not gonna ult on her. I don't need to. Actually, the good thing is, the only thing you can now do, you can't attack me with cryo, except if it's with her. That's just a matter of how long I can last. Oh, especially with that? Nah, I'm not gonna last long with that. I need to get myself 2 electros. Like electros. Don't look like electros. Hey, those do. Yes. Okay, okay, okay. We can surprise burst him. Alright. We're alleviating a bit of the stress. That's good. This is scary. But luckily, she can only do animal damage. That's good. Maybe I can out heal? Maybe. But it is such a slight... Oh! They messed up! She messed up! She messed up! She messed up! She messed up. This is it. This is it. I'm gonna out heal her. I'm going to. This is out healing. There's... Yes! Oh! We're gonna do it! We're gonna do it! We're gonna do it! Because I'm gonna heal first, because I ended first. And yes! Yes!
It's been a long run with 4 hours down the drain, but defeating an Arena of Champions opponent with only Albedo attacking, killing everything is a mission!
Don't you dare!
Oh.
Don't you dare! No!
Yeah, whatever. A mission complete.
But ladies and gentlemen,
thank you so much for watching until the end. I appreciate your determination. If you like this challenge and want to see me do more, please leave a like, sub, and ring that notification bell for more. I'll be uploading the full recorded run of the winning match sometime this week, so stay updated. Also be sure to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/gameperson06, where I not only play the challenges you see here, but also jam out with other games like Valorant and It Takes Two Solo. And finally, make sure to check out these YouTube creators. Their challenge videos are amazing, and they inspired my own. Until next time, have a good day, night, etc.